back to my channel. Welcome back out to the cabin today. We came out here, we had a doctor's appointment with Bob early this morning. He's doing okay, so. The agenda for today is we're going to check the wood stove. We're going to work out here for a little bit. We're going to get the Otter mount that's sitting behind you. We're going to mount that above the television up there. First order is going to be going outside. We're going to find a limb that's similar to the one we mounted that grouse on in front of the bobcat. We need to get one or two of those to come off that post up there and perch out above so we can set that Otter mount on it. Something that'll kind of blend in with the logs and things like that. So first order is we're going to go out and see if we can find a couple of limbs that'll suit that purpose. I think we found the limb we want to use here. It's kind of buried back here in this scrubby brush and stuff. We knocked it over from that way with the excavator, so it's got this nice sweeping end to it, and I think we can use two pieces out of it because it's got the same continuous arc, and we can bring those out together. So we're going to chop this out of here. Got some deer running through the swamp out there. If I wasn't so far away from the camera, I'd jump around and show you guys, but swamp's froze now, so the deer are just constantly running through. We'll chop this limb out of here and give you guys a look at it. Alright, so there's a pretty good look at the limb we got. You can kind of see it sweeps two different directions. If we saw this limb off, we could probably also utilize these smaller limbs that come off of it, use one limb to come out, and use these three to stabilize that Otter mount, sit right on there. So we'll take this back up to the cabin and see what we can do with it. Alright, so we got our limb, and I'm not sure how much of it and which segment of it we're going to use yet. But you can see the end I chopped off there. Kind of gives you that effect. At some point we'll probably have to take the saw and bevel cut that back, so when I scribe it, that's basically scribing it to the post that it's going to sit on. But right now I'm kind of looking at this area right here to perch that Otter on. We'll have to cut the end of these limbs off a little bit. And it gives us kind of like a nice tripod hanging out there. So something in this area, and we'll cut this back so it'll scribe right onto that log, kind of look like it's natural. So that's my plan. So we brought the Otter mount out here. We set it on here. It seems like it's going to fit okay. This limb's going to actually come up through the back of the mount, and you'll see what I'm talking about later. We'll give you a close-up of that. We made a couple of marks here. We're going to cut this small limb off. We're going to cut this big limb off. For right now, we're just going to take and use this pole saw to cut these off. That way we don't risk breaking one of these off, because I really want to use these. So we're going to cut those off, and then later we'll go back with the hatchet and rough them up, make them look like it was chopped off or chewed off the beaver. So we'll just cut these off for right now, and then we're going to figure out where our bevel cut's going to be and how we're going to attach it to that post. The reason I use a pole saw on that, and it's a fine-tooth pole saw, it's because I can lock my arm and I got more control over it. Now if I had a wood vise or something like that out here, then I wouldn't have to worry about that. But this fine-tooth pole saw, I can have a little bit more control over what I'm doing. So we're going to figure out our angle for the back and how that's going to come off the post to get it just right. Hopefully if I hold this limb out over here for you guys, you'll be kind of able to see the effect that I'm going for, and I can get an idea of how I want to mount this. The nice part about this rebar railing is I can fit this kind of stuff through here, so gotta find the right combination. And I'm looking for an effect sort of like this here. This is going to be at my approximate angle, give or take a little bit. I want it to come from up behind the television, so that way we don't see that being mounted right to the face of the log. I can hide the mounting, the way I mount that, behind the television. We're going to get this scribed on. We'll get it cut off at the angle we want, and then we'll figure out if we need to put anything in there to reinforce it. Alright, so you can see our mark right here. So what we're going to do, instead of actually cutting on that mark, because I'm not positive that's exactly where I want it, I'm going to cut that angle a little bit steeper, because I can always go back and take more material off to get my angle right, but I can't put more material on. So we're going to cut that angle a little steeper, and then we're going to go upstairs and we're going to see how it fits. Alright, so now we got that end of the limb beveled off. Now we might have to come back and make that cut concave to fit the face of the log, but we gotta go up there and see. That's gonna sit a little sideways, and I did that intentionally, just the way the post is shaped, trying to favor the face of that post. We'll come back and we'll counter bevel that to make up for the contour of the log. So this right here is about the effect that we're going for. We want that mount to stick out above the TV a little bit. We're going to have to shape the back of this limb a little bit more, but we're really close, so we're going to bevel that out a little bit. We're going to countersink the hole for the timber screw that's going to hold it on, and then we'll come back up here and put it on. Alright, so now you can see here, we went out, we made our bevel cut to get our angle and the pitch of that right, so it would sit correctly. Be nice and flat this way, and up and down. That was why we did our bevel cut. Then we had to go back, and now you can see we contoured it to the face of the log. Our next step here is going to be countersinking a hole in the back here at an angle, so it'll drive it into the post and pull it in nice and tight. Alright, so we want to countersink this hole into the end of this limb, so that way when we tighten it up, it wants to pull that limb into the post. Start out in perpendicular to your log, and as you go, cut back, make your bevel, and you'll come out the face there. Now what we're going to put in there, it's going to be a 5-inch long timber screw. It's going to go right through there. And you see how it fits freely through there. We don't want putting any pressure on this limb. It's small enough and we can just split it, crack it open. So we want that screw to go freely through there. Right now you see how that sits above the surface. We're going to make a small countersink for that, so that goes back beyond the surface and you won't hardly see it. Also, it's going to come from behind the television, so that will be blinded by, it'll be blocked out from anybody's sight. So okay, so we took and put a 1/2-inch bit in the drill. We're going to take and just go slightly in there. Again, you start perpendicular, come back, bring your angle back. Now you'll notice the countersink there, that's not quite as big as the head of the screw. So we're going to take and we're going to go like this a little bit and remove a little bit more material. This is the biggest bit I had out here. Normally I'd just get a bigger bit and countersink it. We're only about a 1/16 of an inch away, so if we'll walk this bit around a little bit, just go nice and easy. Now that screw will fit in there just perfect. So now we're going to try to get this mounted to the post. And that contour fits just about perfect. So we got to figure out where exactly on the post we want it to be. We'll take our impact driver and we'll run that screw in and get it tight. And then we're going to come back and we'll have to climb up here on the ladder and set our Otter mount on here. And we'll get this attached. Alright, so what we're going to have to do here is, I was going to put one screw in it. One screw won't hold it in the exact position that I want, so we're going to go up there, we're going to drill a second hole, we're going to put a second screw in it, we're going to get it exactly where I want it. One thing to keep in mind with this stuff is, just don't be afraid to try something, because none of this stuff is perfect. You can always go out and find another limb somewhere. I'll just give you a quick view here of the mount, how it mounts to the limb. You can see how it kind of scribes around that log there. If you come around the face, you can just barely see where that screw is countersunk back in there. A little sanding and stuff, you could blend that right in, maybe a little staining. You can see how it comes up from behind the television and out in front, so that way anybody down below isn't going to see the screws or anything. And you actually don't even see them from up here, so it worked out pretty well. Alright, so we'll get this Otter sitting up here how I want it. And you can kind of see how this limb is going to kind of run from front to back here. I kind of want them tipping down a little bit of an angle, because otherwise it'll make them a little bit too hard to see. So she sits in there pretty good. It's kind of locked in between these limbs. This left limb goes kind of up behind everything, and that'll make it a lot easier if I got to clean it, because I can just take them down and clean them, vacuum them off. So I think we're going to leave them just like that. Well, there you go. You can see the Otter sitting up above the television there. I kind of like that. Alright, well that's it for now. We're going to jump in the Kubota. We're going to head back up to the farm and see how Bob's doing. We got a horse up there that's not doing well, so we're going to go check on her before it gets completely dark. And maybe after supper we'll buzz back out here and do a little bit more work. But for now, I just want to thank everybody for watching my videos. Please subscribe, click the bell icon button, and get my notifications when new videos come out. We're trying to do this regular, so we'll get videos out on a regular basis whenever we can. And if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you again.